Yo, 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 it's the Co.
And yo, it's the Cone. And today we have another fan-suggested video. Thank you to Jacoby, I believe, who was the person who suggested this. If you have video suggestions, make sure to put them in the comments section below. We'll make sure to get it done as soon as we can. We've both talked about it. We love doing the fan suggested videos because we want to do stuff that we enjoy, but also stuff that you'll enjoy. And the video today is talking about certain club situations. So some clubs that are not in their best ways right now, and we both are going to talk about what we think can be done to bring them back to their successful ways. Marco, you got anything for us?
Just, we would like to see these clubs be back where they were before. Some of them, not really. There's two of them that I don't want to see where they were before. The other two, it's really hard to see them get eliminated from competitions. Not one of them. One of them got eliminated by City, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
First up, on my list at least, is Paris Saint-Germain. Obviously, they're doing well in the Uber Eats League, whatever. In European competitions and in club competitions in France, they haven't been as successful as you think a team like that should be. So there's clearly stuff to be done. Marco, would you like to get us started off and say a thing or two about the club?
I have a lot to say about this club. This club needs a lot of work done. I think this club needs to sell a lot of their players and start rebuilding. I think the only one they need to keep is Mbappe. Mbappe needs to be their top person. They can't have Neymar up there. They can't have Messi up there. They need to have Mbappe with his skills, with the way he touches the ball, with the way he scores the goals. He needs to be up there. He needs to have more passers basically on the team.
More people that can get him the ball.
Yeah, like he needs a Kevin De Bruyne. He needs a Jordi Alba. He needs a Danis Alba. He needs a Marcelo. He needs people like that.
Yeah.
He needs a better midfield. The defense is okay. Like, you have an aging Sergio Ramos who's not going to be the next year. You have Kimpembe, who's, in my opinion, I think he's overrated. Marquinhos, he's okay. Give Nunes more playing time. You need to have all these players to get more playing time that are not getting playing time. I think Messi and Neymar need to be out of there. I think they don't fit well with Mbappe. That's my opinion, And you need to have... Who's their coach?
It's Galtier, who's... Yeah, he was going to be one of my talking points.
No, I think you need someone like Zidane, or who leaves? Someone who's world class.
Yeah, I'm with you there. For me, it's almost confirmed Messi is gone. You need to find a Messi replacement, and in that I mean someone that's comfortable with the ball, someone who can get you goals, can get you assists, but mainly someone who's going to give Mbappe the ball, because Mbappe is the show at PSG, and he can honestly probably leave whenever he wants, so you have to make him happy. I think his happiness there has to be their main priority. And in doing that, you have to win, because if you're winning, you're probably pretty happy. You need to bring in a manager who has won in Europe. Gaultier just isn't the answer. He's been in France his whole life. He was at Nice. I don't know why he's still there at this point. And I think his time is running out. Maybe it's Zidane, like you said. I think Zidane is, he's French. If he fits in their culture, he'll be loved there. And he's won stuff. I think someone like a Luis Enrique as well, Julian Nagelsmann, who I'll get to both of them in some of the other clubs. But finally, for me, I have to find a way to keep Neymar on the pitch somehow. If he's still going to be there, you have to be able to rely on him for the majority of the season and not for 40% of the season like he has in the last few years. I think that's all we have for PSG.
Another chance. I think you do. I think with a better, more rounded squad, I think Pochettino can make that team into the best team in France, how they are now. The best team in Europe with Champions League football.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Next up is, I believe, the club that was the suggestion. It's Chelsea. There's a lot to be done with Chelsea. I guess you started off PSG, so I'll start this one off. You got to do a fire sale. You got to just start getting rid of people. You brought in 8 new guys in January or something. The people that I wrote down are Mendy, Pulisic, Mount, Ziyech, and Aubameyang. I kind of like what I have seen from Conor Gallagher the last couple games, which I can't believe I'm saying that. But I actually have liked what I saw, and I think he wouldn't be a bad idea to keep there and be a guy that can play every so often. Adding on, or I guess kind of the polar opposite of that, is give the young guys time, the guys that you brought in. We talked about it yesterday. I still think Mykhailo Mudryk has all the potential in the world. You have to give him time. Enzo Fernandez has looked great, but you gotta, keep giving him that time because he's gonna continue to get better. Same with Wesley Fofana and Badiashile as well. And the Lampard experiment. He's horrible. You have to bring in Luis Enrique or Julian Nagelsmann, who they've talked to both. Got to bring one of them in. And finally, from a purely gameplay standpoint, you have to find the end product. You've seen their build-up is actually pretty good. You've seen all the dribbles that Joao Felix has completed. Mudryk's dribbles have been pretty good. They do move the ball pretty well. I mean, Enzo Fernandez is amazing in that build-up play. But you have to find the goals, and the goals will come. You have to be patient, and by patient, it's going to be next season. Like, the end of this season probably isn't going to be great, but this is a 1 to 2 year rebuild. I think that's all for me.
For me, I agree with the fire sale. I think both goalkeepers got to go. New goalkeeper got to come in. Both of them are struggling. I see Mendy as a better goalkeeper than Kepa. Kepa's very historically not good. If they had to keep one, I'll keep Mendy. I think all the old players that are there, I think Azpilicueta has to go. I think Thiago Silva has to go. Who else? Kovacic has to go. Mason Mount has to go. Aubameyang, Sterling. Like, even though Sterling's really good, and I just think he has to go. Pulisic. I think Ziyech I feel like I think he could say they need to permanently sign Joao Felix. He's going to be very, very good in that number 9 spot. I think you run a 2 up top, I think. you have to run it two up top. And I feel like Kai Havertz and Felix could be the best two up there for this situation. I think you need to bring in more defenders. I think with Badiashile and Fofana, those two are good. But I feel like you need more depth. And we see how PSG are struggling with depth. They don't have nothing. I feel like Chelsea have too much that they don't know where to use it. And I feel like if you just sell players and just invest in better young players or better older players, I think that's what they need. Frank Lampard has to leave. Got it. Go. Like, pack up the bags and leave. Like, I don't think he should be there. I think Luis Enrique is going to get the job. I really do. He is very, very good at coaching. Very sad to see him get eliminated from the World Cup so early. But I do think Luis Enrique is going to get the job, and I feel like he's going to bring this Chelsea team back to where they were. I don't want to see it happen, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I don't want to see it happen, but at the same time, like, you almost feel bad for them when they're in like 11th and 12th place. Like, it's one thing if they're like struggling to make Europe, but they're like 7th or 8th, like a Liverpool. Like, you can make fun of Liverpool, but you gotta like feel bad for Chelsea almost.
Because I think Chelsea have won almost everything, and to see them fail this bad is pretty sad to see. But I just feel like Liverpool, they had it coming to themselves.
Yeah.
They're keeping all their old players. Like,
they kept doing the same thing until it stopped working, where Chelsea switched things up while they were doing well, got rid of Tuchel, which was horrible.
Yeah.
And it's just been downhill since.
I think he gets a second chance too. If Bayern don't keep him.
All right. I think that'd be great if Bayern don't keep him. Speaking of Bayern, perfect segue.
Yeah.
The next club that we have is Bayern Munich. One of the greatest clubs in football's history. Struggling in everything that's not the Bundesliga, and still struggling in the Bundesliga a bit. Marco, would you like to?
Yeah, it's not the same Bayern that I've seen before, because in the past times, by this time, they're 3 or 2 games away from winning the league, but they're only 1 game ahead of, or they're only 2 points ahead of Bayern or Dortmund. And Dortmund have not been playing good either. Like, they lost to Chelsea, a very struggling team. But I feel like they have too much depth that they don't know where to use it. I think the Neuer loss was very, very bad. I think Neuer is one of the best goalkeepers in the whole world. And Jan Sommer he's not Manuel Neuer. He's not Neuer. Like, you just can't be buying Bundesliga goalkeepers thinking that they're going to do the same thing as Neuer. And they're bringing in so much defenders. It's working perfectly, but they're using them wrong. Like, we saw the domination that City just did against them, and people were calling Upamecano, is it Upamecano?
Upamecano, yeah.
Yeah, they were calling him Upa Maguire because he was struggling. I think the Lucas Hernandez was a big loss to them. The midfield is perfect. They have Muller, who's going to be there still. Goretzka, Kimmich, Musiala, like big players who are young, old, who can make a difference. I think the attacking is where everything goes downhill. As we saw, Kingsley Coleman and Sadio Mane are not on the same track with each other. I think, or was it? No, it was Leroy Sané and
it was Sané, yeah.
I think Leroy Sané leaves this summer, because of that. I think they want to keep Mane on the team. And I think bringing in Salah, a player that is rumored to leave Liverpool, and putting him with Sadio Mane would be a perfect match for them. And you'll have so much depth up there too. I think even though he's very, very good, I feel like he's getting old. I think Choupo-Moting needs to leave. They need to get a better 9 up there. I feel like he's just not performing how it's not 2015, 2016 anymore.
Yeah.
It's time to get rid of Choupo-Moting and bring in someone a lot younger who can perform. I think you go into the Bundesliga and go to a team like Leipzig, who have Timo Werner, who's been doing okay, a lot younger. I think he can be the new Lewandowski for them, stay there for a couple of years, perform very well. I think this team can go back to where it is very comfortable to see them winning the DSK trophy. You can see them winning the Champions League, how they did it before, and you can see them winning the league very comfortably.
Yeah, I'm with you for essentially all of that. You have to bring in like a Neuer understudy, someone that can sit behind him for a few years, because Summer's not the long-term answer. Yeah, bring in someone that's a bit younger, who can work, who's willing to work under Neuer for a year or two, and become the future goalie for Bayern Munich. Going off of the Choupo-Moting point, you have to get a true 9, someone that's younger, is gonna get you goals, is gonna be involved in the build-up play. I don't think it's gonna be Harry Kane based on the reports I've seen. Maybe it's Osimhen. Maybe it is. If he doesn't go to United, maybe it's him. And give Thomas Tuchel time. Whether they do or not, they should, because he brought a team probably worse than this Bayern team and the Chelsea team, and brought them to a Champions League final and won it. So you get a couple signings in the summer with this Bayern team, and you very well might be right back there with Tuchel. Finally, resolve the conflicts. You saw with Sané and with Mane. Even if it means one of them has to go, if they both have to go, you have to make sure that you have a team with no problems, because that stuff, they were doomed from that point on. Yep. There was no way that they were going to come back, and it makes the rest of their season feel a bit shaky, because they've already had that conflict in the team, and it might happen again. Bayern Munich. Our final club that we are going to be talking about is another English club similar to Chelsea, have been struggling. I think are in a better place than Chelsea are overall, but they still need some work, and that's Liverpool. Some of the stuff that I have is you have to let the young guys cook. Let Darwin Núñez cook. Cody Gakpo, Luis Diaz. I think Baljetic is amazing. Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, even Trent Alexander-Arnold. I mean, he's like 23. He's still young. You got to let those guys be a huge part of the squad. Let them be Liverpool. Replace the older guys like a James Milner. It's his time to go. Like a Fabinho, it's his time to go. I don't think you can get rid of Henderson just yet, because he's still the club captain. But he's getting older. Start to fizzle him out of the squad and bring in those replacements. Thiago as well. If Thiago can't stay healthy, then he's got to go. Find the Firmino replacement. If it's not the starting 9, the starting striker on the team, if you want to roll with Gakpo or with Nunez in the middle, probably Gakpo with Nunez on one of the wings, that's fine. But bring in a guy that can play. If an injury happens, he can play 10, 15 games in a row, and you're not worried about it like a Firmino. Like, you know what you're going to get. Finally, give Klopp one more season. If he rebounds well, then great, you get to keep him. If he doesn't, it might be time to move on.
Good. Okay. I say rearrange the whole lineup, basically. James Milner has to go. Matip has to go. Arnold, stop using him as a right back. He's a better defensive mid. Just, you can run a 3-4-3 and have one of the right, like, you can get a real right back and put him as a winger. Like, stop using him as a right back when he's not a right back.
They did it against Leeds. In the attacking play, at least, he was up, and they switched Matip. I think it was Matip, maybe it was Konate, over to that right side, and he was involved in the middle of the field. And it was. I mean, they scored like 6 goals, so of course it was good. But yeah,
I've been saying for the longest time to keep doing it.
Oh, you've been on it the whole year.
Henderson, one more year. Thiago has to go. Keita has to go. Fabinho has to go. Arthur, he's leaving. Oxlade-Chamberlain has to go. Firmino has to go. Salah has to go. I think you put Darwin Nunez up in a 9, and the 2 wingers have to be Luis Diaz and Gakpo. Just let them play. Like, let the youngsters play. Like, they've been backups. They've been understudies to Firmino, to Salah, like, who are struggling in those spots. I think in the midfield, you have to let the young people go. Like, you have to let them go out there and play. Like Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, Stefan Bajcetic?
Bajcetic, yeah.
Bajcetic?
Yeah.
Which he's going to be the future of Spain with Pedri and Gavi. The defense, you need a right back. You need a legitimate right back. Selling all those players, you have the money to bring in a world-class right back and not put Arnold in a very uncomfortable situation when he's getting called overrated because of his defensive style, and put him up in the midfield. I think one of the Jones or Elliott could be a backup to them. I think Elliott's more of an attacking, but Jones is like the same thing as Arnold, just not as defensive. Like, they're getting understudied by great midfielders. Fabinho was a great midfielder years ago. Thiago was a great midfielder years ago. Henderson is still a great midfielder, but he's just getting old. They need to prove that they want to use the young players and not just have them be bench warmers, because it's not going to improve their gameplay.
Yeah, I think this is the only case team-wise where basically everyone who needs to be a part of the future is there. Like, they don't need to bring in a lot of people. They just need to let the young guys go from that kind of like on the cusp of being the full-time player to just let them go. And maybe you can bring in some older guys who are, good mentors who don't need as much game time as someone like Fabinho, Keita, Thiago, Henderson currently do. But I think they're probably closer than Chelsea are. Like, they're there. You saw it in some of the results. I mean, 7-0 against United, 6-1 against Leeds. They beat Bournemouth 9-0 earlier in the year. They're there, but they just need a little bit more. I believe that's it from a club standpoint. Those are the 4 that we think need something. Whether it's a little bit or a lot, they do need a bit of an improvement in some way. We're going to talk about Juventus, but on the day of recording, their deduction got reversed, and now they're back into third and in the Europa League semifinal. So they're doing pretty well for themselves.
They are.
I think that's it from us. If you have comments on the clubs, put in the comment section below. If you think there's any we missed, put that down below. Say what you think needs to be done, and we'll let you know as well. Make sure to like and subscribe. Turn on the post notifications so you see when we upload. It is at the same time every day of the week, but you get it. And yeah.